How's everybody doing today? Good. It's Monday. It's the beginning of STL Startup Week. I'm super excited to be here. Super excited to chat with you guys today. You guys have each taken, some time out of your busy schedules to invest in learning, invest in networking, and I'm really excited to have my presentation today, which is going to be talking about becoming the authority in your industry with personal branding or your niche. My name is Adam McChesney. I'll get into a little bit about me, but over the next hour, I'm excited to dive through specific strategies and tactics that I've utilized in order to grow not only my personal brand, but also the multiple businesses that I own and operate as well. If you guys have any questions throughout, feel free to stop me, but I will have a Q&A at the end to answer any questions that you guys might have. But if there's something that comes up where you're like, Adam, would like to dig into that more, feel free to stop me. But I appreciate you guys all for being here today. I'm excited to dive into everything we're going to talk about. So as I give these talks, I really like to allow for the audience to know who I am, and that begins with the core values. So these are core values that we have in our business, but these are also core values that I personally have that make everything that I do possible. So the acronym that we utilize in our company and that I utilize with my core values, the foundation of everything, is trust. So take action. I've taken action over the last 2+ years as an entrepreneur, doing this now full time, which is one of the reasons why I'm here today. I focus on results that matter. So everything I'm going to share with you guys today are going to be physical and tactical strategies that I've utilized in order to grow our businesses and grow our personal brands. And I want to teach on actual data and results. I don't want to teach on theory or talk about practicalities. Utilize resources. So obviously here in this group today, we have this event. We have this event that's going on the entire week. There's so many resources that are available. You take a look at everybody that's here in this audience. Someone that you need to be connected to is going to be in the room this week. So make sure that you utilize resources. Setting expectations is really big. So I want to set expectations that if you guys listen today in this talk, if you guys take notes, if you guys ask questions, and you guys figure out exactly what you need to implement in your business or in your personal brand or in your life, I can guarantee you that you will get the results that you're looking for. And then ultimately transform lives. Every time I give one of these presentations, if I can affect one person, if I can affect that one person that then takes it back to their team, takes it back to their family, all of the lives that are impacted, there's not a quantifiable number on that. So I want to focus on transforming lives. So a little bit about me. This is a picture of my lovely wife, Delaney, and our dog, Georgie. I'm a husband, I'm a leader, I'm a serial entrepreneur, so I'll talk about some of the businesses that I'm involved in. My main business is a digital marketer. I'm a speaker, so I've spoken on quite a few stages this year, continuing to do that, and I also host a podcast. So a little bit of background on me. So I was in medical device sales for 5 years. Worked my way up for the #1 CPAP equipment company. If you guys are familiar with CPAP equipment, I worked for ResMed. I did that up until July of 2020, but I turned into digital marketing, and I always put a question mark behind it because people think that's a pretty crazy transition. Why would you leave that industry? And I'll get to that here in a second. But I was promoted within 9 months of starting at ResMed. So I got to ResMed at age 26 in a new role, got the opportunity to get promoted. And with that promotion, I was 10 years younger than the next oldest key account manager. I also so happened to go from making about $75,000 a year to $200,000 in my first full year. So at 26, 27 years old, that's a lot of money if you haven't had it before and don't know what to do with it. So it would have seemed as if I really truly had it all figured out. Everybody looking on the outside in was like, man, this guy, he graduated college, went into corporate America, and it all seems like it was figured out. But deep down, I wanted something bigger and better. I wanted to actually create a life by design where I had the freedom to work when I want, how I wanted, where I wanted. I didn't want someone to tell me, I got married at age 28, we don't have kids yet, but I didn't want someone to tell me in the future, hey Adam, in order for you to make the most money possible, you have to work even more hours, you have to travel even more than you're already doing, and you have to be on the other side of the country. I just wasn't interested in doing that. So as we progress, here is my digital marketing or entrepreneurial journey, and I got started in digital marketing. So back in 2018, right after I got promoted, I thought, okay, this is awesome, but I still realized it wasn't what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. I started looking for ways to make money online. And as most entrepreneurs, you've all done the Google search, how to make money online, best side hustles, 2022, etc. That's what I was doing. I just so happened to get targeted by an ad that taught how to build digital real estate. So building digital real estate in that format was building websites, ranking them to the first page of Google, and then basically being a digital landlord. So instead of doing them for brands, I would do them for myself and rent everything out. So I started that in 2018. 2019, I said, hey, I'm still working in corporate America. This course is doing fine, but the results just aren't there quick enough. I'm gonna go buy another course because that next course is the one that's gonna take everything off, right? That happened and it didn't take off. So I essentially did nothing up until 2020 of actually making money. But I was building websites, I was creating ad accounts, I was doing all of this testing. So that way, when eventually I would go full time, I had all of these case studies. I had everything ready to go. I just wasn't making money from it. So I had said 2020 was going to be the year that I was gonna quit corporate America by the end of the year. Well, obviously we all know what happened, COVID, and that quickly transitioned me from being out in the field in corporate America, traveling all over the state of Missouri, to being cooped up in my home. So I started investing more time and energy into my business, and over the course of 6 weeks, that started to take off. And so in July of 2020, I went full time. So a little over 2 years now, and I'll walk you through the entire journey. But at the time, I thought, okay, I'm making $10,000 a month in this side hustle business. I realized I had none of it figured out. I had just bought our dream home 6 weeks prior, and I said, honey, I think I'm gonna do this full time. And she looked at me and still looks at me some days when things are going a little bit crazy. It's like, what were we doing, leaving this security, leaving the comfort, leading all this stuff. But I knew there was something bigger and better that was out there for me. But I really, truly realized at that point, I knew how to sell really well. I was in medical device sales. I knew how to sell our digital marketing stuff, but I had no idea how to run a business. And so I started to invest heavily in personal development, personal branding, and all those different things, because the funny thing about medical device sales with CPAP equipment is there was one other competitor. I just had to be better than one other company. When I went into digital marketing, there's hundreds of thousands of options, which I'm gonna talk to you guys today about how I differentiated myself. So since going out on my own, I'm now an owner partner at Height Digital. So we're the only digital marketing agency in the entire world that operates in a franchise model. So basically the Chick-fil-A of digital marketing, and we'll get into some of that. I also own an auto glass repair company that we built entirely from scratch through one of those initial projects in 2018. So it just ranked to the first page of Google. Now we dominate the first page of Google, and I know nothing about auto glass, but that company was started through everything that we do for our clients. I also am a partner at Exit My Agency. So we help digital marketing agencies buy and sell. So if someone is looking to sell their agency, we facilitate a buyer for them, and then we also potentially consult for them and then turn them into a franchise at Height Digital. I was awarded Height Digital Franchise of the Year in 2021. We were just named to the Inc. 5000 list at 868. Best in Marketing St. Louis 2022 by St. Louis Small Business Monthly. And we're awarded Future 50, one of the top 50 fastest growing companies in St. Louis. So all of this has happened in the last 2 years, and I'm gonna walk you through how we got there. So when I talk about where I started and from what the bottom looks like is everything you'll see right here. So 2018, I bought that first course, started the side hustle, whatever you wanna call it, literally made $0. So we're just building up a bunch of this stuff. The next year I bought that additional course. I made $9,000, so I thought, okay, hey, 9,000 is better than 0, but we ended up selling 9,000 and losing a lot more by the time I was investing in all the software and resources. In 2020, which was basically 6 months full time by the time I went out in July, we did $150,000 in revenue, 12K. Last year we did $750,000 throughout the entire year. So I'm not gonna bore you with all of this stuff, but this will all come full circle when I talk to you about the personal branding strategy. I transitioned my agency over to Height in May of 21. We had our first 7-figure traction month in October, so about a year ago. In November, we had our first 100K month, and then in July of this past year, we had our largest month ever at $148,000 in revenue. And then in September, most recently, we did 162K. So all of this stuff is built on personal branding, which I'm going to talk to you guys about, but it was built on the foundation of literally starting from zero and building it up from there. So how did we go from $0 to 7 figures in 15 months? It was all on the backing of personal branding. And so the reason why personal branding is so important is because most industries in today's world are a commodity. And what I mean by that is there are literally hundreds of thousands of options that are out there. Everybody knows somebody that's in digital marketing or that are in any of the industries that most of you probably are in, which makes it very difficult to separate yourself from those other options. Because if you guys are here, that means you're investing into resources and education and networking and things like that. People that do that don't want to be the ones that are selling on price, on guarantees, on offers, all the things that attract the wrong clienteles. And that was no different for me in digital marketing, which is why I had to kind of separate myself and do something a little bit different. So some questions to think about here. So if you're out there thinking why is personal branding so important? The idea is that no one really truly has something that's so unique what they offer in reality, right? I sell digital marketing, and there are 1,000 other options that are out there for digital marketing. We do it in the franchise model, so we truly are the only ones doing it the way that we do it. But still, for the most part, digital marketing is digital marketing. What people are buying are the results to grow their business. Everything else in the interim with our team, with our resources, with the franchise itself is a little bit unique. But a lot of people spend time trying to talk to their end ideal client, figuring out that perfect offer or figuring out some sort of hook to get them in. And then once they get them in, they realize, okay, this client isn't the right type of client. So you end up selling them on something that doesn't necessarily resonate with what they're looking for. And as you're talking about promoting your business, whether you're cold calling, whether you're networking, most business owners, or if you sell B2C, most consumers don't want to be sold. They want to know that they're getting a quality product or service or whatever it might be, and that it's actually the right fit for what they need. But too often, entrepreneurs are just going out and they're selling, not realizing that they're being extremely disconnected from their ideal audience. And if you follow what I've been able to do, and I'll show you it specifically, you're going to have the ability to stop always having to sell on an offer or guarantee, which again is a nice thing to have, but it's going to keep people from also not just leaving out the back door. So personal branding in general is very tough. And in September of 2020, just a couple months after, the typical way to grow your digital marketing company at the time and still is today is you need to create basically one big sales pitch on your Facebook profile. And so that's exactly what I did. I had a cover photo that I was going after home remodeling companies at the time, basically guaranteeing them 20 to 30 plus new opportunities a month to grow their business. But there's literally 100 plus people right now on Facebook in the next, literally, just probably in the St. Louis area that are offering something very similar to this. So a show of hands, if you guys are posting personally on your personal Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn page, are you guys doing it daily? Is anybody in here doing it daily by a show of hands? Awesome, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, awesome. So I was that exact same way before I started utilizing organic social media to grow my business because I never really saw a need for it. But when I started posting about my business on all those platforms, it was only client success stories. It was only things that were still kind of giving off a cold sales pitch to people, so it wasn't resonating with my crowd. And I wasn't doing anything that was different from the competition. So even 2 months in, I was like, man, there's got to be an easy way to do this. And everybody thinks there's an easy way to grow your company, an easy way to grow your personal brand. And the truth of the matter is there is no easy way. But I looked and I started thinking to myself, if I were a business owner that could use my services and I went to my organic Facebook page, LinkedIn page, Instagram page, would I actually hire myself? And I looked at it and I was like, there's no way. Because literally I could go to any which option that are all offering the same things, and I gave off the vibe that I'd probably be looking for a guarantee, I'd probably be looking for the cheapest option. I would be not going after the offer that I had. So it really started to make me think, and I had continued to try everything, right? So I was doing paid ads, I was doing cold email, cold calling, I was spamming groups, I was going to local networking events. I was trying literally everything to grow my business because I had just left corporate America with a really good job with all the security and all this stuff, and I kept thinking, man, what did I just do? So I would scrape hundreds of thousands of emails, I would send out cold marketing, cold email campaigns, all of the different things that a lot of businesses do, and I would join niche-specific Facebook groups. So we work with a lot of contractors, home service businesses, et cetera. I would go to the local buy, sell, trade, local business groups, and I would just spam my stuff. Hey, I'm Adam, I'm new to business, I can grow your business, let's have a conversation. And it never worked. And so if there was a business page or a business owner in my newsfeed, I was just adding them and then saying, hey, kind of doing that show up and throw up method of, hey, here's who I am, buy my stuff. But they never knew who I truly was. And it worked for a while, but it didn't get us to where we were needing to go. So what I like to talk about in personal branding is we all have something within inside ourselves that can create that know, like, and trust factor. If you're looking to hire for someone or you're looking to buy a particular product and connect with a brand and resonate with a brand, you want to have that know, like, and trust factor. You want to know that it's the right product or service. You want to like the person behind that product or service. You want to like the brand, and you want to trust that when you buy it, it's actually something that will serve you in whatever matter that is. And so that's what I like to talk with people about doing, and that's what the focus of this presentation is. People do business with those that they know, like, and trust. And that will exponentially help you grow your business if you can create that authority, if you can become that person in your respective industry that others look up to, and others, when every time now when someone thinks of digital marketing, a lot of times people think of us and Hite Digital. Again, there's no shortage of options that are out there, and when we're trying to separate ourselves from those hundreds of thousands of options, it's very, very easy to continue to run the rat race. Because the personal branding, the journey, all this stuff that I'm going to talk to you about, and specifically of what I do, none of this stuff is easy. And when you sign up a business or a consumer with an offer or a guarantee, it's not that it's a bad particular way or strategy of growing your business, but if you get them in the door with an offer or with a guarantee or with some sort of special, and they still don't get to know your brand or who you are as the business owner, they are more likely to leave you than someone that does get connected with you. So it's important not only to get them in the door with whatever method you do, but then to also create that branding, to also create that know, like, and trust factor long term. It's a lot easier to keep clients and get referrals from those clients than it is to try to go and lose that client and go find more clients. Does all this make sense before I get into some of the specifics? Awesome. So, becoming the authority in your niche with personal branding. So my personal branding journey started in August 2020. Now, I primarily utilize Facebook. Now I was just talking to a gentleman in the back, started to utilize Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, all of those platforms. But I'm going to talk to you about what I've been able to do on my organic page on Facebook. I post 2 times a day, every single day. And I post at 7 a.m. and 5 p.m. And I've tested out different times, and a lot of our clients are here in the Midwest, but we also have clients coast to coast and worldwide. And the reason behind why I post at 7 a.m. and why I post at 5 p.m. is because at 7 a.m., most of the business owners that we're looking to work with have not had their day started. So they are not, they're probably in the office, but their employees aren't in the office. And so what do they do before they get to the office? They're on social media, they're trying to pass some time, what have you. I'm trying to get their eyeballs on my stuff before their day starts. Secondarily, at 5 p.m., that's normally when the workday finishes up. Now, for a lot of business owners, they're not back home yet. dinner hasn't started, they're not at kids' practices, all those different things. So that's the reason behind why I do that. I also post twice a day, every single day on Facebook on the weekends. Those times tend to vary just based on when I see a bunch of people on there posting, things like that. But for the most part, it's pretty consistent with what I do on the weekends. Yes?
Okay, when you post, twice a day, are they different posts and more information?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to get into the specifics around all that. No, you're totally good. But to answer your question, I'm absorbing all of this data from what I'm having conversations with on a daily basis, and then also what my team is having conversations on. And I'm taking those specific frequently asked questions and topics. Maybe it's topics about hiring a digital marketing company or a particular service that we offer. And then I just keep a running tab in my phone on the notes section. So that way I have a list of stuff I can go back to, and I'm not just waking up and being like, oh gosh, what do I have to write today? Second aspect is I also read a ton of books. I listen to a ton of podcasts, and I'm taking specific things from what I'm reading or listening to in writing. And I'll walk you through specifically how I create this content and all that stuff here in a second. And I will also strategically add business owners or referral partners. So for me, again, we're B2B, so we're offering these services to businesses all over. So I know specific business owners that I want to go after and add so that way they can see my content. But for some industries, if you're B2C, then you have to add a lot of consumers in order to make some headway, right? So the other opportunity is adding referral partners, which I also do in this strategy. But I try to again, add them, and then I'm not just pitching my stuff. I'm letting them consume my content, letting the content do the work, and then seeing the results on the back end. So getting into specifics about what I'm talking about. So 90% of my content has nothing to do with digital marketing. I'm not selling my services with my content. And the reason is because the person on the end of the phone or the computer that I want to resonate with my content is a human and an entrepreneur. And so it's really important for me to resonate with them versus just trying to sell them on what we're great at doing. Our ideal clients are human. We are human. So it's really important to be human throughout this entire process. And what I mean by that is we work with contractors. So we work with roofing companies, HVAC companies, things like that. That roofing company owner, that HVAC company owner, he's likely potentially a husband, or if it's a female, a wife. They have kids. They understand what it's like not to just run the business of being a roofing company owner, HVAC company owner, but also the ups and downs that come with entrepreneurship. So a lot of my content is the day in the life of an entrepreneur, things that we go through in business. Business is business for the most part. Digital marketing and roofing, they're two completely separate industries, but you still have to hire employees, you have to recruit and retain employees, you have to budget, you have to take care of your bookkeeping and all those different things. So a lot of my focus is in talking about topics that are motivational, that talk about, hey, here's a particular instance of what I was going through in business and here's how I overcame it. I even talk about failures, because the thing about social media, and it's really easy to read through it, is when people only talk about the success, everybody's scratching their head saying there's no way this guy lives a perfect life, because that's the reality of it, right? Most people are only talking about the success. So when it does come to digital marketing though, I normally do 1 to 2 posts a week about digital marketing. It's never just a quick, hey, here's a new website that we built, or we started working with X, Y, and Z, Mr. Smith's roofing company, and we 10x'd his business. But it's all about telling a story. Going back to what I was talking about earlier, is most people don't want to be sold. They want to hear and listen and understand and comprehend it with a good story. So what we're always doing there is we're talking about the client's success at the beginning, but then I want to walk them through the entire journey of what it was like before that client worked with us, what their journey has been, and then also what the end results might have been. So a lot of times we work with companies that come to us and they're like, Adam, I've worked with multiple marketing companies. I just hate digital marketing. I hate who I've worked with. We've wasted so much money. We've gotten no results, no one to answer the phone, et cetera. We deal with that all the time. So when people like that come to us, we want to take, hey, here's where you started. We rebuilt your website, we started all this stuff, and here's the results. We like to use those customer testimonials, and then we'll also write a post about that. I will personally, because I want to connect with the business owner on the other end, because I know there's so many of them that have also been in that same position. So there's two different types of ways you could go with a digital marketing or business-focused post. Is, hey, we worked with Mr. Smith's roofing company, we 10x'd it in 6 months. Basically a sales pitch. But if you tell the entire story of when Mr. Smith came to us, he had been struggling to pay his bills, he had been struggling to get leads online, he decided to come with us for X, Y, and Z reason, and then over the last 6 months, we've been able to 10x his business, and here's why. People tend to resonate with that. So it's not just a sales pitch. I'm not selling anything in that post, but if someone reads that post enough or sees it, they're gonna be like, okay, it's time for me to reach out to Adam. The other stuff, again, is about my life and personal things that I'm going through. So it could be health and fitness, could be relationships, could be entrepreneurship. It's helping people understand that when they hire me and my team, it's not just all about business. It's not just all about getting new clients and keeping those clients long term. It's about helping them understand that, hey, we're in this together. And if you need to talk to us because you're struggling with something else outside of digital marketing, I want people to know that they can come to me. I talk with most of our clients now because we have a massive team. Most of the time when I'm talking with clients, it has nothing to do with digital marketing. But they know that they can come to me because they understand that I know, for example, what they might be going through or someone in my network does. So they look at me as a networker, connector, etc. But the biggest aspect is you have to stop talking about only you. Most people, when they try to promote their business on social media, whether it's through their business page, here we're talking about their organic stuff, it's all about ourselves. And that's tough to step away from, but when we step away from that, on the other side of doing that, it opens up a whole new world of opportunities. It opens up the ability for people to see you for who you are, for your brand for who you are, and it helps you connect with the right people. Oops. Not sure what's going on. Okay, there we go. Make sure I didn't skip a slide. All right, so talking about doing the work and the results will come. So just to kind of recap where we're at with what we do from a personal branding standpoint and what I do for the business is I don't have an offer. I don't have a guarantee. I don't offer anything unique. Again, our model's a little bit different than most digital marketing agencies, but digital marketing is digital marketing. I don't have a hard close, even though I was in medical device sales and we were taught to just hound people until they buy our stuff. I kind of let my content and let our process do the work. I don't have the best follow-up system, admittingly. I kind of let people come back to me when the time's right. I make those opportunities happen. I don't do much of any local networking. I don't do a ton of cold calls or emails, and I don't do paid ads. But what I do have and what I have created is I do have people seeking me out. Anywhere from 5 to 10 times a day on Facebook, I will get tagged in some sort of post, whether it's on someone's organic Facebook page, hey, looking for a digital marketer, or if it's in these groups across the country. There's a group of about 200,000 people that I will get tagged in at least once or twice a week when someone's looking for our services. I do have people, kind of getting to the next point, tagging me and referring me in those groups. I am looked at as an industry expert, and as a result, I do get a higher quality of clients. And when you get a higher quality of clients, not only are you able to charge your worth, but you are able to provide a better overall customer experience, which then turns into more referrals for your business, but there's a lot less headaches. There's a lot less headaches when you have it that way. And I do get to set the right expectations. When someone has been looking at my content now for 6+ months, in my content, I'm talking about expectations of working with us. I'm talking about how to hire a digital marketing company and what is expected of our clients on the other end. Most of the time when someone sees you and they don't know your content, they don't know who you are, they're gonna go hire you because you're the next person in line, and then you're gonna have to try to set all the expectations in a quick 30-minute window or whatever the initial consultation is. My content has been doing the work for so long, and there have been people that have been following me since I got started that are like, Adam, I already know literally everything. You don't have to sell me. Here's my credit card. And that's really unique for digital marketing. So as I mentioned, I'm really not great at sales per se. I let my content do the work. And so because I put out so much content now on all of these different platforms, the algorithms on each platform are very, very smart. So literally when I'm sleeping, I will get people messaging me because I saw a post of mine. Or because when I am in the middle of other meetings, someone else makes a post, someone can then go in and tag me without me having to physically be in that group and do all the work. So by letting the content do the work, it's basically helping me sell without me physically having to be on all of those calls every single day. Because at the end of the day, we don't have just magically more hours when we do this personal branding and all this content. So I'll talk to you guys a little bit, kind of circling back on the results. Might be a little bit tough to see here, but as far as the results go, my personal branding journey started when we were doing $12,000 a month in revenue. 4 months later, we doubled our monthly revenue to get to $25,000. So 4 months in, not terribly too insane of growth, but we basically doubled our book of business. Nearly 1 year of doing all of this personal branding, we went from 12K to 50K. So we 4X'd our business in 1 year with over 90% of our referrals coming from my Facebook page and personal brand. Again, 12 to 50K, pretty good. But 18 months of consistently doing it, in February of 2022, we hit $118,000 in revenue. So this is not an overnight process of producing this content and creating the authority in your space, but there's not really a better return on investment because we did no paid ads, we did no anything extra. This is all free stuff that you can be doing. In a year and a half, our book of business went from $12,000 a month to over $118,000. So this stuff can work if you put the work and time and energy into it. And not only that, we've scaled to over 100 clients in our agency, and we've been able to do it by keeping our clients as well. So in 2021, our client churn, basically our retention was, we only lost 4.62% of clients. This year, we've doubled our book of business, so it's up to 8%. The average in the digital marketing space is around 30% monthly churn. So every month, most agencies are losing about 30% of our clients. So we're well below that, but not only are we growing at an insane rate, but we're also keeping our clients around. Because when people resonate with your content, they're more likely to stay. So here are some things why people will say that they won't do this. So they say it won't work for their particular industry. So that goes for digital marketing, that goes for personal branding. Adam, I'm in X, Y, and Z space. This isn't gonna work for my industry. Yes and no, right? So if you create a personal brand, there's so many different opportunities that you can do in order to create and grow your business from that. For me, one of those things this year has been speaking. So my big event that I did I was invited to an event in Costa Rica earlier this year. I spoke on stage right before Damon John, Kevin Harrington, Jesse Itzler, Willie Robertson, some really, really big names. And that particular event wasn't getting me more clients. But what it did was it allowed for me to build my speaking engagements. It allowed for me to be on stage and have a ton of content to resonate with people to talk about what growth looks like. I don't have enough time to do it. So again, this is gonna be something that you have to spend time and energy in order to do, in order for this to pay off. It sounds complicated. People say that all the time, it sounds complicated. Adam, if I haven't started posting yet, how can I start to go do this and how can this resonate with my audience? And this strategy won't provide immediate results. Exactly. I just showed you that you will see growth over time, but it's not, hey, I do this for 3 months and all of a sudden everything takes off. It's building a foundation online, it's building a personal brand, but the best part is, if everything that I built up here went away tomorrow, I would still have the personal brand, I would still have all of this stuff to be able to shift into a different and pivot into a different industry in order to make this work. So here's why it will work though. Most people won't do it. So if most people won't do something, that leaves the opportunity for the people that will actually do something. That leaves the opportunity to be enormous. You have to make time. So I literally have time in my schedule, even though I kind of know the content of what I'm going to produce. I have to make time in order to write that stuff out, or at least get a baseline, especially grab pictures for what I'm going to utilize. And at the end, I'll have a link to my website where you guys can follow me on all the social platforms. I literally just recommend you guys take a look at some of the stuff that I do produce and find out a way to make this happen for you. There is quicker, faster, cheaper, and easier ways to get business and grow business, of course. But while everybody else is doing that, you're over here building something that's much bigger. And I don't recommend people stopping doing what they're doing over here, but use this as well. But people literally are on their phones all day long. So if people are on their phones all day long, I want to be in front of them. That's another reason why. And authority matters. When someone makes a post about digital marketing and they're looking to hire someone and I'm tagged 9 out of the first 10 times, people can't help but start to message us and reach out about our services. So it does play a key factor in all of this. And the authority matters standpoint, 2 weeks ago, I just got verified on Facebook. So we went through that entire process with our team. So that's a big, big opportunity for us. Not many people get verified on Facebook, especially in the digital marketing space. So we were able to do that just 2 weeks ago. So that was a pretty cool thing. And now the amount of messages that I've been getting from people all over the world, literally just talking about my authority from this, it's been amazing. And we've gotten clients from it as well. So it doesn't hurt. Some common FAQs: can I use third-party platforms to schedule posts? The answer is no, I wouldn't recommend it. I've never done that. The reason behind that is because Facebook, Instagram, all these platforms can understand how much time you spend on them. So if you use a third-party platform to schedule posts organically on your personal page, this is not your business page. You can do whatever on your business page. But Facebook and all these platforms know. So they will literally not necessarily penalize you. They just won't show it to as many people if you use a third-party platform. What do I post about? I would just recommend taking a list of notes, of conversations, of topics, of questions that you guys get every single day, whether it's from your clients, whether it's from referral partners, people that you're talking to, books that you're reading, all of those different things. There's no shortage of things that you can be talking about. Can I do it only Monday through Friday? Sure, if your heart desires to do that. I just like to teach on what I've done. I also actually kind of get a lot of opportunities over the weekend, because when I am posting, people are still online, and it's nice to be able to wake up, on Monday morning and have your entire week booked out with potential customers as well. And I am not posting at all right now. Twice a day is a lot. Can I do once a day? Yes, to get started, but I would find a way to ramp up pretty quickly. So I always recommend people doing this for 6 months without giving up. I'm going to talk about a 90-day challenge that I give to people after giving this talk. But if you truly do this for 6 months without giving up, you are going to reap the rewards. You are going to see an increase in your business. You are going to see an increase in your personal brand. So I gave this talk to a bunch of digital marketers earlier this year. And one of the things is that most people, when they hear this stuff, and when most people talk, they don't actually have social proof. Or if they do have social proof, it's just, hey, I did this number of revenue, I did this, which I understand I did that, but I also like to associate like true things that happened. So this is going back, so essentially this guy called me out. He's like, hey, show me where this entire strategy end-to-end works. So in July of 2019, I saw a Facebook ad for a local company. So I said, hey, I reached out to him. I said, hey, would you be interested? Or I said, do you have a sales funnel? Sales funnel is just a one-page website to capture leads. So I saw he was already doing ads. I reached out and I said, hey, do you have a sales funnel? And he says, no, but I have a cookie jar I keep my money in. And he said, it's 8:30 or 9:15 at night, not cool. And I said, I apologize. At the time, I was working in medical device sales, so I was literally messaging people at all times of the day just to try to grow my business. And he said, I appreciate that. I sent him some examples. I said, hey, let's set up a time. He said, let me check this out. I'll potentially reach out if I'm interested. So nothing literally happened from that. I even sent him my website. I said, I'm based here in St. Louis. I have clients all over the country, yada, yada, yada. Never heard anything back from him. So down here in March of 2020, I saw that he was running a Groupon ad. And we all know what happened in March 2020, where literally business owners are cutting back all their marketing and advertising. They're scratching to try to find some way to grow their business. I reached out and I said, would you be interested in a free website? You would literally just pay monthly hosting and maintenance, and I offered that. Why, I have literally no idea, but I just figured, hey, I'll try to grow a portfolio from there. I heard nothing from him, literally nothing. Back in July 2019, I added that business owner on Facebook because I wanted him to start to see my content, even though I wasn't posting a bunch at the time. I wanted to be connected with him. So over the last 3 years, this guy then reaches out. He's the owner of that carpet cleaning company, reaches out and says, hey, Adam, I saw that you were highly recommended on one of the local Facebook groups for digital marketing. I love what your profile has to say. Would like to set up a time. So I put together a quick 5-minute digital audit video, just said, hey, it just so happened his website was down at the time. He had all these issues, and he was spending a bunch of money with other marketing companies, and he wasn't getting the results. So I said, hey, watch this video. Let's set up a time to talk. And he literally, within a week, paid, which at the time was our second largest website we ever sold, and then also committed to, I think, 6 months, actually maybe 12 months, of ongoing services. So, and I actually joked about it with him. I said, hey, like, go check your Facebook business page and check our messages. I said, I tried to offer you a free website 3 years ago when you truly still did need one, and now you came to me and you're paying top dollar for it in addition to these ongoing services. So this is actual proof that not only is this stuff work, it's gonna take time. But he laughed about it. He's like, oh, of course I wouldn't have bought from you then. Like, you were just a sales guy in my direct messages trying to do business with me. I said, yeah, of course. So all this stuff has completely came full circle. The other aspect is, most of us, we have amazing stories to tell, we just don't tell it. Now, some of us are already telling those stories, but we always have an amazing product or service or whatever it is that we can talk about. We just don't always tell people about it. And so one of the things that has also got us a lot of business is, like, we are on the first page of Google for digital marketing in St. Louis. Our business has only been around for 2 years. We literally compete with digital marketing companies that's all they're doing all day long. We did it in 2 years, and we're going up against companies that have been doing it forever. So we talk and we practice what we preach, right? That's a huge thing in my content is, hey, not only am I posting every single day, but I'm also doing all the same things that if you're gonna hire me for digital marketing, don't you wanna know that I'm also on the first page of Google for our main keyword? And that's been a huge indicator for our growth. The other aspect is I literally started a company, as I mentioned earlier, in auto glass. I know nothing, even still to this day, about auto glass, but we created that company by just ranking a basic website, getting it to the first page of Google, outranking SafeLight and all of the other competitors that have been around for years. Started the company because we were renting those calls out. No other auto glass company in the area could handle the volume we were getting. Over the last 30 days, we've generated nearly 1,000 phone calls. So again, all of this stuff, once we have our product and our service, we need to be talking about it, and talking about practicing what we preach is a key aspect of this. So as I wrap things up here, this is a quick 90-day challenge that I give to everybody. So the first aspect is cleaning up your Facebook profile on your personal page, and what I mean by that is if it looks like a sales pitch, if it looks like a cold DM is just coming someone's way if they add you, clean it up. Add 5 business owners or referral partners every single day. So again, depending upon your industry, depending upon your target market, add those people every single day. Post twice a day, 90% having nothing to do with the business or the product or the service that you offer, with 10% doing that. And then the other key aspect is comment and support on 5 ideal clients or referral partners every single day. So what I mean by that is if someone's posting something about their business, they're posting about their kid's graduation or whatever it is, go like it, comment, share it, all of those things. We have gotten a lot of clients from me just taking time out of my day to share their stuff, to comment, to like, so that way other people can see it. And when you do it enough, when they need your services or when they need your product, they're going to reach back out to you because you've been supporting them all along. So that's all I have today. This QR code right here will take you to my website where you'll be able to find all of our social links, my personal page social links. And then I also have a podcast on there as well called Entrepreneur. You'll be able to see all that stuff. But I'll open it up for questions. Yes?
Yeah, the ranking on to maintain your pages. Oh, thank you.
Is this a microphone?
The ranking seems like it would be the hardest to maintain, like the most competitive. Are you saying that a social media strategy allows you to stay on page one?
No. So those are two separate things. But one of the things that, for example, for digital marketing, digital marketers are notorious for saying, hey, we get all these amazing results for our clients. But then when someone will be like, okay, well, what are you doing for actually your own business? It's crickets, because they're not actually practicing what they preach. So one of the big indicators for me has been like, if I'm going to sell you a service, I'm already doing those things in my business and having success doing it, which is why I feel comfortable selling it to you. So people need to be, open with that, and I produce content around that. Yes?
Thank you, that was great. A couple quick questions. So on your 10% of business focus posts, do you have a call to action to a call or to your website? Or, I know there's certain Facebook restrictions on selling on your personal page, so just curious about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So no, usually. We offer a lot of free digital audits, which is basically just taking a look at people's online presence. We might throw that at the bottom. If you do have, so with Facebook's algorithm, if you do have a link or a call to action, always put it in the comments. Because if you put a link in the actual post, Facebook looks at it as you're trying to drive someone off of your website, off of their site to yours. So they will automatically stop showing it to as many people as they would have. So most of the time, we don't necessarily have a call to action. With the right post, with the right story, you'll see people reaching out to you. Like that's mostly, when I don't ask, that's when I normally get responses. When I do ask, it's usually the flip.
Okay. Are you doing any video on there?
I am, yes. So I do, I normally do a weekly live video. I also do reels on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube Shorts. But those, that's been an entirely new strategy for me really since May. So I don't talk about that only because I haven't seen, it's not that I haven't seen traction with it, I have. It just hasn't been the foundation to help me grow the business like this has.
Okay. And then last question. So are you niched down in digital marketing to specific businesses? Like you mentioned kind of roofers and contractors.
Yeah, so we might work primarily with contractors and then service-based businesses. So we also work with a lot of lawyers, dentists, chiropractors. Our ideal clients are essentially the ones that their ideal clients are going to Google to look for their stuff. So we primarily try to stay on Google. We do some stuff with Facebook and Instagram, but we're pretty niche down for the most part.
Got it. Awesome. Thank you.
Are you putting together and mostly batching the content, and are you pushing it all out yourself, or are you doing that through VAs, other folks in your company?
So I do it all myself, and I don't necessarily batch it. So it does take a little bit more time, obviously, to do it that way. You could certainly have a VA do it and not see any drop off as long as it was someone logging in and actually creating the post. But, and there's so many different rabbit holes to go down, but sometimes I will literally just make my post on Facebook and let it sit for like 45 minutes because Facebook looks at it as, oh my gosh, Adam's got this amazing post that took him 45 minutes to write, even if it's just a blurb. And then I'll go back and I'll add a period at the end and then I'll submit it. So it looks like you're spending, I mean, there's so many tips and tricks, but like just getting started is a huge aspect to that as well. Question back?
Yeah, so I know you said not to post like a call to action on like a post that you make. Mm-hmm. Do you do any call to actions in your stories though? Like when you post in stories?
Yeah, so that's a completely, so the video portion of it has a completely different algorithm than that. So I always will post like a link to my podcast, a link to my YouTube video, a link to book a call with me, because they're not necessarily apples to apples in terms of the algorithm. The only reason why I don't necessarily do a call to action on the actual post itself is more because of the algorithm, but I also want it to be pretty consistent with everything else.
And then do you use any like a content calendar, or do you like have one planned out for yourself?
We started to do that now.
Okay.
But to just get started, like I would just have a list in my phone of stuff I wanted to talk about and then do it, which is not efficient, but it's better than just waking up and being like, well, what am I going to post about today? So a content calendar would be incredible, and we're building that out right now. Yes, sir.
Instagram. Oh, thanks. I'm sorry. So, would that same strategy or technique work for other platforms like Instagram, LinkedIn, and things like that, as far as the 45-minute wait and things like that?
So I'm not 100% sure about that, because right now most of my content, we're taking it from Facebook because that's been our bread and butter, and we're repurposing it on other platforms. So my next evolution is creating specific content to every platform that's unique, because every platform is going to have its own algorithm. Again, the reason why I talk about Facebook is because it has been the catalyst for what we're doing, and I want to be able, because I've seen people do this and their business take off. I want to be able to tell you and look you in the face, hey, if you do this, I know it's going to work. I can't have that same confidence right now with those other platforms.
I guess in regard to like starting and forming your business, did you go through a market or business validation period? Because I'm kind of in that situation right now, and I'm thinking like, how can I do this without having, customer referrals and testimonials and things like that? So is that something you experienced?
Yeah, so the reason why I did it in the way that I did it back in 2018 is I started building out, by the time I launched, I had about 100 websites that I had built that were in my database that I owned and operated. I have sold most of those sites or just let them vanish because they were producing nothing, right? But I had that to be able to go show people and be like, hey, we're on the first page of Google for auto glass repair in literally 6 months. And I would use those things as case studies. So that would be the only thing that we really did before doing that. Other than that, I kind of just jumped in. I don't know if that's the right answer or the wrong answer, but it's the answer.
Okay, thanks.
Yes. Oh, sorry.
So I'm in healthcare. I'm trying to keep my personal page and business page separate because of that. I don't really know if I want my patients and clients following my personal page.
Yeah.
So if I have just a business page, can I be successful doing this, and what percentage should I be posting that's personal versus business related?
Great question. So the difference between the algorithms is actually crazy. So it takes about 18 months of doing this exact same strategy on a business page, unless you have some sort of like viral takeoff post or video, that it will to do in about 90 to 120 days on the personal page. And so the only reason is because Facebook and all these platforms make their money off of paid advertising, and they do that through the business page. So they don't want to reward someone the same way that they would organically, because they can't make money for the most part off organic stuff on personal pages. They can only do it on the business page. So that's the difference. On the flip side, like I will tell you, it had been hard for me to start posting and doing all this stuff. So when I first started posting back in August 2020, I had like posted literally nothing for years, unless it was like about a vacation or college, like just not professional stuff, right? Not anything bad, but it was like, this isn't an entrepreneur. So I started to do that, and like very quickly I was getting a ton of backlash. Like college friends were like, hey, look at Tony Robbins, all this stuff, right? And so for me, that was really hard, because it's just like, all right, this is where now people are fine. Once I got verified on Facebook, I have all these people reaching out to me. Oh, I knew you were going to do this. I knew you were going to do that. Like, been supporting you since. I'm like, yeah, okay. But that is one of the hardest things, but it has also been one of the most rewarding, because now it's funny to look back on. But that's where people will connect with you. Like, most of the people that I had been friends with on Facebook at the time were never my ideal audience. So if you need to create like a separate profile that is just for business, that is a personal page, that would be kind of the one workaround that would potentially be an opportunity. But by doing it on your personal page, it opens up a sense of vulnerability, and then also just like, again, that human aspect where people are like, hey, this isn't just some guy or girl hiding behind a business page. Like, I talk about some very real stuff on there, which has allowed for me to help more people and then also get more clients as a byproduct.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. And then the last one I had was, obviously I'm trying to connect with like patients, clients, it's not businesses. So when you say you went and added in like 5 businesses a day, how could I do that? Like, I don't want to be seeking out people and friending them on Facebook like, hey, so you look like you need my services because you're unhealthy.
Yeah.
How could I go about doing that without being, I guess, weird about it?
So as long as you're not pitching them, like the problem is people will like my mom, for example, did It Works. And if anybody does that in here, it's not saying that, that's just what she did, right? And she would literally add people or ask me to like add people for her, and then she would go and pitch them. If you add people and then just produce your content, at some point, if they need your stuff, they're gonna be like, hey, sorry, what's your name? Jenny. They're gonna be like, hey, Jenny has this product or service that I actually need, and I've been watching your content now for 6 months. They're gonna be reaching out to you. Second aspect is you could also find referral partners or people that are like key players that if you just got that relationship and could get tapped into their network and have them do the selling for you, that could open up your business as well.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
I guess my question was very similar to the previous questions, and I have a very hard line between personal and work because in the past it's bit me. Being a female in a male-dominated industry is tough.
Yeah.
And that's where I was kind of having some of the same challenges of, you know, sometimes they don't see you as a professional or you're just a mom, you know, who does this on the side. So I guess a question I would have from that, kind of what you've brought up, is how do you navigate that? And I've got like a LinkedIn professional, my own profile, my company profile. I don't have a company Facebook page, but I have my own personal. I'm not sure I'm ready to go over that hump. Is there like a minimal, you know, MVP for getting this started as far as social?
So I would say, in line with what I was telling Jenny, is you can create another Facebook page that is a organic personal page that's separate from the business. It's going to take a little bit longer because obviously you don't have friends that are on there. So you're going to have to start to build up the content. You're going to have to start to do all those things. That's the one loophole to this. I've seen people do that with success. I have. For me, I didn't want to do that only because I had so many friends that were already on there. I was fine with mixing both. But I've also had people on there that have been friends with me for a very long time that I knew that they were business owners. I knew that they were connected. So I didn't want to have to relaunch and do all that stuff. But that certainly wouldn't be a problem.
Thank you.
Yes.
So since it seems like you're doing a lot of research on other platforms besides Facebook, how have you been kind of trying to lead with that research on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on all those other platforms? What do you look for? And how do you figure out the trends and the algorithms?
So luckily I have a team that does a lot of that now, but when I was doing it myself, it was more so of just analyzing the analytics and the engagement on those posts. So for example, I had a, whatever you want to consider viral on Instagram, I had a post get like 30,000 views in the first hour on Instagram. I made that same reel on Facebook, it got nothing. I did the same thing on TikTok and YouTube Short, like got nothing, right? So just trying to then dig into each post, because a lot of this stuff, you can do all the research, but where most people get lost is they do all the research and then they don't actually make the post. They're trying to find, like there's never gonna be a perfect starting point. A lot of times you just gotta get started and then analyze what comes in after that. And then figure out, why did it go so well on Instagram? There's probably something different about the algorithm or what I posted. So that's why we're trying to dissect that from there. Awesome. Yes.
So the growth that you had in revenue, you must have been tracking your followers and kind of how that looked. Presumably there'd be a little bit of a lag, but did you see that kind of scale in accordance, or do you feel like with everything that you did, maybe your followers didn't grow as much, but people were still seeing things, just in terms of expectations?
Yeah, absolutely. So with Facebook, you're only able to have 5,000 friends. So I quickly hit that 5,000 friends, and then it was cutting the fat. So what I do is every single day there's a list of people whose birthdays it is. If I feel like they benefit from my stuff or that I could potentially work with them, I'll send them a happy birthday message. If not, I'll delete them. And then I'm always finding new people to add in the funnel. So I wouldn't necessarily say, like, now because I'm verified, I have a follower stuff. So I have like 1,500 friend requests on Facebook. So those people automatically become followers. So my following now is continuing to grow even if I can't add them, but that wasn't the case up until very recently. So I was just going for the quality aspect, making sure that if I'm gonna make these posts and these people are gonna be on my profile, that the quality is there, not necessarily just the quantity. Awesome. Yes? We'll do last question here. I think we're right up on time.
So I guess part of the cleanup that you were talking about will be also cleaning up, like, you know, existing friends or, you know, people on your Facebook, you know, who I guess your business or whatever won't necessarily benefit.
Yeah, correct. So it's yes and no. So for me, for the first year, it was just getting up to 5,000. I really didn't care about that. Now I've been like deleting people from high school, college, great, like that aspect of it. So it kind of just depends on where you're at. Most people will worry about that and then not get started. I always tell people just to get started when you hit that 5,000 limit, because you'll never truly know who can connect you. Like there have been clients of mine that I went to high school with that I didn't even know they had a business, but they just so happened to know that I was on social media and did that because of my business. So I don't want to tell people like, hey, just go completely, you know, start deleting people. Focus on adding people. When you hit that barrier, then you can kind of see where that equilibrium is at. Awesome. Was this helpful? Awesome. Well, thank you guys very much. I appreciate it.